These impeachment complaints must be dismissed. Anak ng kagwang, bungad pa lang, binanata na kayo. Vice President Inday Sara Duterte Defense Team, mga bigatin, anak ng kagwang, Fortune, Narbasa, and Salazar Law Firm, anak ng kamote. Hindi talaga po papayag si Vice President Inday Sara na magtagumpay itong mga buhaya dyan sa Kongreso. No, sa kanilang mga masamang balak na siya ay i-impeach. At mga bigatin din ang sagot ng mga ito. Kagahabi po, ang ating pinag-uusapan lang, in-update natin na sumagot na si Vice President Inday Sara kasi ang pag-aakala po natin ay hahayaan na po niya ang mga buhaya dyan sa Kongreso at hindi sasagutin. Pero nagulat po tayo, last minute po, ay sumagot si Vice President Inday Sara Duterte pero hindi po natin nabasa ang mga nilalaman ng mga kasagutan ng defense team ni Vice President Inday Sara. Kaya ngayon, pagtiyagaan po natin basahin, baka maiba yung interpretasyon sa labas ng social media, lalo na po sa mainstream media. Kawawa naman po si Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Hindi po ako abogado, pero babasahin ko lang. No? Madali lang naman daw intindihin. Actually, hindi ko pa nabasa. Sabay-sabay po natin na babasahin ngayon. Magandang tanghali po sa ating lahat. Pa-like po muna, pa-share, pa-subscribe, at pakipindot po ang inyong notification bell para lagi po kayong updated sa ating mga video. Excuse me po. At Bisdak Historiador, pa-subscribe po, pangalawang YouTube channel ko. Nanak ng kamote, ang tagal matapos tong ubo ko eh. Binarang yata tayo ni Baki. Ito ang pag-uusapan natin. Pakinggan po muna natin ang balitang ito, narito po. Bago natin himay-himayin ang mga sagot ni Vice President Inday Sara.
Sakto sa deadline niya ngayong araw, sumagot na ang kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa inihaing impeachment complaint laban sa kanya sa Kamara at hiniling nilang ibasura ito. Ikinumpara pa nila ang trato ng Kamara sa kanya at kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Nasa frontline ng balitang yan si Marian Enriquez.
Sa 15 pahinang sagot o answer ad cautelam ni Vice President Sara Duterte, hinihiling nitong ibasura ng Kamara ang dalawang reklamong impeachment na inihain laban sa kanya. Wala raw kasi itong pinagkaiba sa Articles of Impeachment noong 2025 na dineklarang unconstitutional ng Korte Suprema. Nilabag din daw ang karapatan sa due process ng bise. Giit kanila, meron din umanong double standard sa pagtingin ng impeachment complaints laban kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kung ikukumpara sa paano inaksyonan ang mga reklamo laban sa bise.
We raised due process issues because of what we feel sa aming pananaw ay hindi naging uniform yung standards ng pag-determine ng sufficiency in form and substance doon sa naging impeachment complaints laban sa ating Pangulo at impeachment complaints laban sa ating dalawang Pangulo.
Wala rin daw paglalatag ng ultimate facts sa mga reklamo kaya wala silang masasagot dito.
Ang sa atin, sinasabi natin na hindi po naglalaman ng ultimate facts yung mga complaints na naihain laban sa Vice Presidente. Kaya po sa totoo lang, wala tayong maisasagot sa kanila.
Wala pang sinasabi ang abogado ni VP Sara na si Attorney Michael Powa kung dadalihin nila ang issue sa Korte Suprema. Hindi pa rin naglalabas ng pahayag ang House Justice Committee. Pero ang isang miyembro nito na si Bicol Saro Party List Representative Terry Ridor, sinabing bigong sagutin ng tawiran ni VP Sara ang mga akusasyong inihain laban sa kanya. Sa halip daw na direktang sagutin ang mga aligasyon, sinubukan pa raw nilang hamunin ang impeachment proceedings batay sa nakalilito nitong interpretasyon sa due process at ultimate facts. Ginit din ni Ridon na malinaw sa reklamo at supporting documents na may paglalatag ng ultimate facts kaugnay sa maling paggamit ng confidential funds ng bise, pagbabanta sa buhay ng presidente, first lady at dating House Speaker, unexplained wealth at paglabag sa requirements ng statement of assets, liabilities and net worth. Sa Miyerkules nakataktang magpulong muli ang House Justice Committee. Naunang sinabi ng committee chairperson ito na si Jervy Luistro na may 3 araw para mag-reply sa sagot ng bise ang mga complainant at 3 araw para sa rejoinder ni VP Sara. Unang target ng komite na muling mag-convene sa April 8 para talakayin kung sufficient in grounds ang reklamo. laban sa bise. Nagbabalita mula sa Frontline, Marian Enriquez. News 5.
Mga kapatid, may
Tingnan mo Pag hindi po natin babasahin, iba yung interpretasyon. Tingnan mo si Ridon, iba yung pagka-interpret niya. Hindi naman yan abogado yung animal na yan, no? Kung ano-anong galing-galingan tong animal na kuke. Sus ko kuke, Porto Narbasa in Salazar. Yung abogado ni Inday Sara. Di ka ba nalibadbaran dyan? Anak ka ng kamote. So ilan po yung abogado ni Inday Sara Defense Team? Yung pinaka-lead law firm ay si Porto Narbasa in Salazar. Magbigatin to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think mga 16, mga 16 yung defense team ni Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Pinangungunahan po yan ni Porton Narbasa in Salazar. So yung si Ingrid Porton, yan yung si Ingrid Porton, matindi po yung abogado na to, no? I-ano muna natin, background check natin dito. Yung isa si Ingrid Porton, yung sa unahan. Marami na pong kaso si Ingrid Porton na hinawakan. No? Hinawakan niya yung Maguindanao Massacre. Ayan. No? Chiyong Sisters Murder Case noong 1997. Maguindanao 2009 po yun, hinawakan niya. At marami pang mga kilalang mga kaso na hinahawakan po ni Porton. Siya po ay isang siyempre senior partner ng Narbasa and Salazar, Porton and Narbasa and Salazar na law firm. Magkapatid pala sila ni Tiniboy Locsin. Ganun ba? Linawin siya ay kapatid ni Raymond Porton na isa ring abogado. Si Raymond Porton yan, magkapatid sila. At ang practice niya ay siyempre criminal defense, litigation, at kilala sa paghawak ng mga sensitibong mga controversial na kaso. Yung kagaya yung Maguindanao Massacre. Itong isa naman si Gregorio II, yung lalaki. Ayan, siya rin naman po ay nagtapos sa Manila University, Ateneo de Manila University. Anak siya ng ni Andres Narbasa na nagsilbing punong maestrado ng Supreme Court. Puta, mga bigatin talaga. Of the Philippines mula 1991 hanggang 1998. Ayan. Yan po yung mga isa sa yung babae din, ang pangalan niya mabigat din yung babae, nakalimutan ko ng pangalan, animal. Basta kasama yan sa sa Ingrid, sa Porton Narbasa in Salazar. Mabibigatin. So ngayon, wala masyado tayong mabibigat na komento. Basahin lang natin yung response ni Vice President Inday Sara kasi di kampanilyang mga abogado, medyo minaliit ni Okay ka, Cookie, yung sagot. Si Cookie kasi, di naman abogado yan, abogago yan. Okay, basahin natin yan yung unang pahina. Yung sagot nila dyan. Kagahapon po yan, kagabi. Talagang 4:30 p.m. So, mga 30 minutes bago magsarado. Ay dumating po ang grupo nila. Ayan, in the matter of the impeachments of Sara Semerman Duterte as Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Reverend Father Joel Sabalya. Ito pala yung impeachment nagsampa. Putang ina, pare, itong animal, versus Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, Semerman Duterte. Respondent, in the matter of the impeachment of the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Semerman, at saka ito pa, si Attorney Nathaniel Cabrera. Ito rin yung complainant. consolidated verified answer ad cautelam. Ano to hindi man ako abogado, babasahin ko lang, pero intindihin nyo naman yung pagbabasa ko din. No? Ang mahalaga kasi, mabasa natin kasi kagaya yan, anak ng kagwang, si Oki Kakuki. Iba yung interpretasyon, madali lang naman daw to intindihin. No? Ito po yung unang nila bungad ng kasagutan. Respondent by counsel without waiving any jurisdictional and or other objections as to those out to these proceedings and her right to exhaust legal remedies respectfully states. No different from the 2025. Ito na. Articles of impeachment filed against respondent before the Senate and declared void ab initio by the Supreme Court in Duterte versus House of Representatives. These impeachment complaints must be dismissed. Anak ng kagwang, bungad pa lang, binanata na kayo. Wala daw pagkakaiba ang isinampang impeachment ngayon labang kay Inday Sara na sinasabi nilang sufficient in substance noong 2025. No, na binasura na po ng Korte Suprema yung articles of impeachment na dapat ngayon ay ibasura na po ninyo ito. Ito yung sinasabi ni sino ba? Inyupi Puno. Wala, pabalik-balik lang wala mga malitagang nasa tawag dyan, Committee on Justice Kahit pabalik-balik, pinupurso nila kasi pera man yan. Pangalawa, the impeachment complaints recycle the same accusations against the Vice President as those contained in the nullified fourth impeachment complaint filed. Tama ba to? GR number 278353, decisions dated July 25, 2025, which attend finality via resolution dated January 26, 2026, denying the respondent House of Representative motion for reconsideration. yung na-nullify na lalo pang napabigat ang desisyon na pagbasura sa impeachment ng 2025 sa decision po ng Korte Suprema. Natalo na itong mga animal Natalo na po ito. So ngayon inulit lang nila. January 26, nagdesisyon ng ang Korte Suprema na ang articles of impeachment ay depektibo at illegal. Doon natalo na sila yung motion ng HOR. Ito nga, by the 19th Congress, House of Representatives, including conjectures, speculations, and conclusions of fact and law, which do not constitute ultimate facts. Alam na natin yun. Next page, baka malito kayo. Ayun. Pangatlo, number 3, absent any statement of ultimate facts in any of these impeachment complaints, there is nothing for respondent to answer. Tama, wala namang kailangan sagutin kung walang katotohanan, walang ebidensya. Respondent thus only admits aberments therein insofar as they allege her elections, assumptions to the office of the Vice President, appointment of Secretary of Education, and her prior office as Mayor and Vice Mayor of Davao City. Pangapat, the rest of the allegations, including the annexes and so-called evidence attached to the impeachment complaints, are specifically denied for being false, misleading, impertinent, and mere conclusion of facts and law. Mga ebidensya, mga walang kwenta daw. Ito, antecedents, sunod ho. Madali lang intindihin nyo. Babasa na lang ako On July 25, 2025, the Supreme Court rendered a decisions in the Duterte declaring the articles of impeachment transmitted by the 19th Congress to the Senate barred by Article 11, Section 3, Section 3 to 5 of the 1987 Constitution and held the said articles are unconstitutional and are deemed null and void ab initio. Number 6. In said decision, the Supreme Court also ruled that no impeachment proceedings may be commenced by the House of Representatives during the 20th Congress against the Vice President earlier than February 6, 2026. On January 26, 2020, on January 28, 2026, the Supreme Court issued a resolution denying with finality the HOR's motion for considerations of that decision. On February 2, patay sila dito, 2026, within the subsisting bar declared by the Supreme Court in Duterte, the first of the 4 impeachment complaints against the Vice President was filed by former Representative Francisca Franz Castro et al. Castro complaint. This impeachment complaint was endorsed by Representatives Antonio Elteños, Sara J. Lago, and Rene Luis M. Cu of Acted Chairs Party List, Gabriela Women's Party List, and Kabataan Party List, respectively. On the same day, the second impeachment complaint was filed by Francis Joseph Aquino D. Kiko D., which was endorsed by Representative Percival Sendanya Laila M. de Lima of Akbayan Party List in Mamamayan Liberal Party List, respectively. Next na tayo. Tangina, may ano sila dito, nakitaan nila ng botas kasi 'di ba? At February 2 nagsampa na po sila ng impeachment. Tuloy natin. On February 5, 2026, the Castro and D complaints were referred to Speaker of the House of Representatives, Representative Faustino Bujidi III. Subsequently, on February 9, 2026, the third impeachment complaint was filed by Father Joel Saballa et al. And endorsed by Representative De Lima. The same member of House of Representatives also endorsed the D complaint that was later withdrawn and terminated. This was transmitted to the House Speaker of the same day. Patay kayo dyan. Thereafter, on February 18, 2026, the fourth impeachment complaint was filed by Attorney Nathaniel G. Cabrera, which was endorsed by Representatives Benvenido M. Abante Jr., Pastor Dila, anak ng kamuti, and Paulo Ortega V. This was transmitted to Speaker Day, the day after or on February 19, 2026. On February 23, 2026, all 4 impeachment complaints were included in additional reference of business for session number 30 at the same day. Media reports seems to indicate that these complaints were allegedly referred by the HOR to the Committee on Justice also on February 23, 2026. However, a day prior to the first day of committee deliberations or on March 1, 2026, several media outlets reported that the complainants and the complaint has decided to withdraw the second impeachment complaint and expressing their full support for the Saballa complaint containing the same grave allegations and substantial evidence as theirs. Pareho lang. Yung 4 naman kasi, pare-pareho lang. At the start of this deliberation, on March 2, 2026, the endorser of the D-complaint, Representative De Lima, confirmed its withdrawal, which the chairperson of this committee, Representative Luestro, acknowledged and placed on record along with the letters dated March 2026, sent to this committee withdrawing said complaint and its endorsement. The decomplainants confirmed the withdrawal under oath. In the same hearing on March 2, 2026, this committee deliberated on and thereafter proceeded to declare the Saballa and Cabrera impeachment complaint sufficient in form. This committee continued to hold deliberations the following day, March 3, 2026, until March 4, 2026, which culminated in its alleged determination that said complaints are sufficient in substance. On March 4, 2026, this committee resolved to issue a notice to the Vice President to file her answer to the Saballa and Cabrera complaints on March 5, 2026. The Vice President received the notice respondent dated March 4, 2026, directing anak ng kagwang March 4 pala March 4 pala dumating yung letter ng House of Crocodile, anak ng kagwang pinasagot ng March 5. Intindi naman ng mga animal, talagang ginipit, no? Her to submit her verified answer with a non-extendable period of 10 days from her receipt of said notice. The Vice President, therefore, has until March 16, 2026, the 10th or last day, falls on Sunday, March 15, to file her answer. This consolidated verified answer ad Gatuilam is being timely filed today. March 16, tama pala. Tama, March 4 pala. Kala ko March 15 na, March 15 pala. March 16, 2026 without waiving in jurisdictional and or other objections and respondents' right to avail of the proper remedies therefore. Ito special affirmative defense. Ito na po yun, depensa. The foregoing discussion is repleaded herein by reference. The impeachment proceedings violate the right to due process. The impeachment process is primarily a legal and constitutional procedure, but with political characteristics. It may be so generous, but it is not purely political proceeding. This means that the Bill of Rights, especially the due process clause and the right to speedy disposition of cases applies to the entire impeachment process. In relation thereto, due process includes an inquiry on whether the government has sufficient justification for depriving a person of life, liberty, or property. Notwithstanding that these doctrinal precepts were already explained by the Supreme Court prior to the deliberations of the impeachment complaints against the Vice President, this committee failed to observe the basic tenets of fair plea and due process, where double standards were employed in dealing with the impeachment complaints filed against President Marcos Jr. and the Vice President, resulting in arbitrary government action. Patay kayo, may president kasi. Yung ginawa nila kay Bongbong Marcos, binasura agad nila. Pero ito, kay Inday Sara, na walang ebidensya, kay Bongbong meron, binasura nila. The House of Representatives, Committee Report number 1 dated February 9, 2026, laid down the supposed basis is dismissing the impeachment complaints filed by De Jesus and Massa et al. For insufficiency and substance during their deliberation, and as stated in said committee report, this committee is merely tasked to determine whether there is a recital of facts to tweeting the offense charged and determinated of the jurisdictions of the committee. In dismissing the impeachment complaints against the president, this committee went beyond the forecomers of the complaints and relied on extraneous considerations that are irrelevant in determining the sufficiency of the factual allegations. In the contrary, the same parameters were not applied by this committee. Patay ka. Patay ka, Luwestro. Tuloy lang natin. In the impeachment complaints against respondent, however, the sufficient reason exists to justify such desperate treatment. In its deliberations of the Sabalya and Cabrera complaints, this committee disregarded the petition for review in Saras J. Duterte et al. Melda B. Plaras, Ducated Kuwa, CP, baka case number to, number to 2024-0194 before the commissions on audit. Commission proper notwithstanding that the subject of the appeal is the principal basis of the accusations therein. Significantly, the matter remaining pending and unresolved. And any ruling of the COA would, at any event, remain subject to final judicial review by the Supreme Court. This committee then did not extend the same consideration to said petition filed with COA and disregarded the absence of any court decision declaring the Vice President guilty of unlawful or unconstitutional acts, as it did with respect to the impeachment complaints against the President. Further, this committee effectively prejudged the probative value and admissibility of the alleged pieces of evidence against the Vice President. This is shown by the statement of Representative De Lima during the deliberation, categorically declaring that the accusations contained in the Sabalya complaint are purportedly truthful. The complaint states not just ultimate facts. Hindi po ito aligasyon, imbento, or haka-haka lamang. They have been the subject of legislative inquiries, media scrutiny, and official documentation. Such as pronounced prematurely assume this existing authenticity and credibility of purported materials relied on by the complainants despite this having yet to be formally presented before the impeachment court, authenticated or subjected for examination. By treating the allegation against the Vice President as established truth even before trial begins, this committee has prematurely evaluated the evidentiary weight of supposed materials that yet to be introduced before the impeachment court. In addition, Ramil E. Madriaga's alleged affidavit, insofar as it claims that Vice President allegedly conspired with certain individuals to distribute money seems to have been treated as gospel truth, despite being equally unauthenticated, inherently incredible, of questionable origin, and devoid of any probative value. Notably, while Madriaga makes sweeping allegation in his purported ba to? Korea, malabo eh. Purported affidavit, he failed to support his claims with any shred of evidence. Consequently, tuloy, his affidavit consists of nothing more than substantiated claims and bare conclusions which cannot be accorded any evidentiary weight. On the contrary, it appears from televised proceedings of this committee that the serious accusations against the President and other high-ranking public officials were summarily disregarded. By doing so, it becomes even more manifest the double standards were employed in the treatment of the impeachment complaints against the latter and the Vice President. Nonetheless, the falsity of the statements in Madriaga's affidavit is exhaustively discussed in the Vice President complaint affidavit dated March 4, 2026, filed before the office of the City Prosecutor of Taguig City and docketed as in PS docket number so and so forth against Madriaga for perjury. In other words, unequal standards were applied in evaluating the allegation against parties similarly situated insofar as the complaints filed against both the President and Vice President alleged ground for their impeachment. Heard the testimonies of supposed resource person during the Quad Cum hearing in 2024, despite being elicited through leading questions and other circumstances suggesting pressure under threat of contempt, were given probative value and relied upon as basis of these complaints. In contrast, serious allegations revolving around misuse and corruptions of billions of public funds appear to have been summarily set aside to justify the dismissal of the impeachment complaints against the President. The unequal treatment reflects an uneven application of standards and scrutiny and determination of sufficiency in form and substance of the complaints against the Vice President. It has been held by the Supreme Court that due process in the end merely is the embodiment of the sporting idea of fair play. In Duterte, it was emphasized that with the constitutional processes, impeachment must be exercised with strict adherence to due process and fairness. It is not staged for political drama or factional flights. It should be involved only when truly necessary and always in the service of public good. It was further expounded that due process as a requirement must be present in the entire impeachment process. This certainly includes even the deliberation made by the committee on the sufficiency in form and substance of the Saballa and Cabrera complaints. As held by the Supreme Court, the hearing and deliberation are important to due process, part and parcel of due process and fairness in the applications of the same parameters and considerations in this determination. Tuloy lang natin guys ha. Hanggang dulo, nga abutin. Otherwise, the entire impeachment proceeding are rendered void for being merged with substantial violations of this elementary constitutional right. Indubitably, had the same standards considered in the impeachment complaints against President Marcos Jr. been applied to the Sabalia and Cabrera complaints, this committee should have likewise found them insufficient in substance. The committee failed in this regard, resulting in the violations of the President's rights to due process. No ultimate facts. In any case, even the committee disregards the patent constitutional violations in this case. The impeachment complaints must still be dismissed. It is basic that the complaint must state only ultimate facts. Section 5, Rule 3 of the Rules of Procedure and Impeachment Proceeding require the recital of ultimate facts, that is, those constituting the office, charge, and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. The assumptions of truth, commonly known as the hypothetical admission of truth, accord under the test, does not cover all the allegations pleaded in the complaint. Only ultimate facts of those facts with the expected evidence will support are considered for purposes of the test. It does not cover legal conclusions or evidentiary facts. Here, neither of the two impeachment complaints allege the essential or ultimate facts necessary to sustain the charges. What the present instead are bare conclusions of fact and law, heavily laden with a self-serving conjecture, logically fallacies, anak ng kamuti, ang hirap, no? And speculative claims, none of which can substitute for the clear and specific statement of all ultimate facts required to support an impeachment complaint. Considering that none of impeachment complaints is anchored on the recital of facts which could be appropriately answered by the Vice President, this committee lacks the required foundation upon which to base any determination of their substance constituting the alleged impeachable offense. The Supreme Court laid down to due process safeguards which must be strictly observed in impeachment proceeding in Duterte. None of these safeguards were observed by the House of Representatives. In this case, the accusations against the Vice Presidents set out in the impeachment complaints consistently reveal disregard of these cardinal safeguards. The alleged violations fall short of their gravity required to amount of betrayal of public trust, graft in corruption, in or bribery, culpable violations of the Constitution or high crimes, and likewise include supposed defense allegedly committed prior to assumptions of respondents to any impeachable office. Medyo mahaba pa mga kabisdak. Ano na lang natin, yung pinakadulo na lang, yung last na lang para ito. So pinakadulo. Basta ang sinabi naman wala namang basehan. Ito, number 61. Sa pinakadulo. The impeachment complaints also fail to demonstrate how the alleged acts supposedly committed by the Vice President could constitute as the other crimes. The rise to the level of impeachable offense, let alone criminal acts by themselves. All told, there is nothing in the impeachment complaints that demonstrate any ultimate facts pointing to coherent credible account of narration of any impeachable conduct. Dugtong lang natin. Without any evidence against the Vice President, the impeachment complaints advance the complaints theory that even assuming that the Vice President had no direct involvement in alleged unlawful acts, she should nonetheless be held still liable under the doctrine of command responsibility for the alleged crimes committed by her subordinates. This claim fundamentally flawed that the mere existence of a hierarchical relationship does not by itself establish liability under doctrine of command responsibility. To hold otherwise would distort the doctrine and reduce it is to be to presumptions of guilt solely based on position. More importantly, the doctrine invoked by the complainants cannot operate in a vacuum before responsibility may even be imputed to superior. There must first the complaint competent prop of the subordinates committed the alleged wrongdoing. Summarize natin mga kababayan ko. Simple lang naman Ang sinabi dyan Walang ebidensya. Walang facts. Anong sasagutin? Yung impeachment, pabalik-balik lang. Nung nakaraan, impeachment 2025, yun pa rin, same lang. So walang bago. Dinagdag lang yung Madriaga. Pero yung credibility ni Madriaga, bagsak at may kaso na po sa Taguig City Prosecutor. At tiningnan din po ng kampo ni Vice President Inday Sara yung ginawa ng Committee on Justice sa impeachment ni Bongbong Marcos, pinagkumpara. Kasi kay Bongbong Marcos natapos agad, pero kay Inday Sara hindi binigyan ng tamang proseso. Kumbaga may precedent na ba? So tatamaan ito sila. Pero sa akin lang diyan kasi sa impeachment, kahit anong sagot natin dyan sa Committee on Justice, lahat yan nakamalitagang, siyempre, buboto pa rin sila. Sasabihin pa rin na impeach si Inday Sara at pagbubotohan sa plenaryo.
Paggising sa umaga, tanghali at gabi, nakikita ko ang post niya, ang hapdi. Paano nga ba to? Di ako makatanggi. Watch ko na lang at isipin ng mabuti. Bisdak Pilipinas. Bisdak, tinig ng katotohanan. Sa bawat vlog may laban sa kasinungalingan. Mulat ang mata, gising ang masa. Bisdak Pilipinas, para sa bayan, gumigising sa diwa. Sa likod ng kamera, tapang ang dala, walang sinasanto kung mali ang gawa. Hinay-hinay, pero palaban. Boses ng tao sa digital na labanan. Bisdak, tinig ng katotohanan. Sa bawat vlog may laban sa kasinungalingan. Mulat ang mata, gising ang masa. Bisdak Pilipinas, para sa bayan, gumigising sa diwa. Hindi artista, hindi politiko, pero ang katotohanan, sigaw niya ay buo. Sa YouTube o Facebook man siya makita, may aral ka pa rin, may uwi sa bawat salita. Bisdak, gising sa katotohanan, di lang kwento, kundi panawagan. Sa bawat Pilipinong naghahangad, vlog mo may pag-asa.